On the screen as usual for you. Pause the video here, have a go yourself or have a go along with me. The questions today are a little bit trickier, but nothing that we can't handle. Let's just put in some stuff into use now. So 6,500,000 why does it never write first time? There. 563. Which number is in the 10,000 column? Obviously means. So that shows you the difference between the hundred and the thousands column. So this is the 1,000, which means that this is the 10,000, and it says which number. So let's assume that means digit. It's a 4. If it to say what amount is in the 10,000 column, then it's 40,000. Okay, but for the wording of this question, 4 is the answer. But you have to be really careful with that one. Make sure you've definitely answered the question. 6, 3, 4, 5, 9, 5, 2 to the nearest million. Okay, this is the millions column. So you've got thousand. So you've got the comma between thousands and hundreds, which means you've got 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, million. Okay, so if this is the million column, then you're moving one place value column to the right, or looking one place value column to the right. It's a 3, so it's going to round down. So it's 6 million. Okay. Again, I must have explained that one every day to you for a month now. Same method every time. Write in the missing number to make the addition correct. Okay, so. All right, so you've got blank, 5, blank, add blank, 6 equals 600. This would be how I would set the question up. I think it makes it much easier then. So something add 6 is 0. Well, that 0 isn't 0. It's obviously a 10, but I can't put the 10 in the units column, so it's been carried over. So that's going to be a 4. 4 add 6 is 10 with a carry there. 5 add something, add the 1 that I've carried is 10. So that's going to be 4. Because 5 add 4 is 9. 50 add 40 is 90. And then it's 100, which would give you the 0 in the tens column with a carry there. And then something add 1 is 6. Well, that is obviously 5. So the answer is 554 add 46. Okay. When it's presented like that, it looks almost impossible. You put it into column addition and suddenly it's a lot more viable. It's a lot easier to get your head around. Okay. Write these in order, highest to lowest. So I'm going to put that there, just so I know I start with the biggest one. So you've got 1.34 kilograms, 0.99 kilograms, 100 kilograms, 0.009 kilograms, 1.034 kilograms. Okay. Nice-ish question because there's no exchanging. They are all, or converting, I should say, kilograms. Okay, so that's something nice straight away. When you get questions like this, and they ask them to put you in order from highest to lowest or lowest to highest, they normally look fairly similar because they're trying to trick you. So what I mean is you've got 1.34, 1.034, 0.99, 0.009. It's using the same digits, but putting them in different place value columns. So it's just testing how well you know place value. So let's go through and use a bit of common sense on it first of all. Some of you might already obviously have it. That's absolutely fine. This has 1 kilogram. This has no kilograms. This has 100 kilograms. This has no kilograms, and this has 1 kilogram. So the first one is very straightforward because it's highest to lowest. So the first one is obviously 100 kilograms. Oops. That's definitely the biggest, so let's get rid of that. And then I've got a choice. I've got 2 answers with 1 kilogram. I've got 1.34 or 1.034. So, again, hopefully you've got it by now, but if you haven't, this is the proof. So, you start from left to right. The place value column on the left always has the most value. So in this case, it's the units column, and then you've got the tenths and the hundredths and the thousandths. Okay, so they've both got 1 unit. This one's got 3 tenths, this one's got no tenths. So this one must be bigger. I'd rather have 3 tenths than no tenths. Okay, so it works a bit like this when you're looking at a number. So say I've got 7.432. The further left, the bigger value. The further right, the smaller the value. So the fact that this has a 3 in the hundreds isn't really important at the moment, because the one above has 3 in the tenths, and 3 in the tenths is worth more than no in the tenths. Think about it as money. Would you rather have £1 or £10 or £100? So get rid of all that. Okay, then it's 1.34 kilograms. Always remembering to put your units, just in case they want to be nasty. So I've used that one. So now I've got a choice of a 0, or a 1. Well, it's obviously the other one, so it's 1.034 kilograms now, because no maths needed there. 1 is obviously bigger than 0. Same logic is going to apply here. 0.99 or 0.009. 0 and 0 in the units, 9 in the tenths, 0 in the tenths, which means it's then 0.99 kilograms, and then that's 0.009 kilograms. Okay, you might have been able to answer that one much quicker than me. Good. But if not, that's the reason behind it. But it should be at a point you can just look at that and work it out. The only thing, as I've said, the only thing to be aware of is make sure the units of measurement are all the same. You don't need to convert. And don't get tricked by the fact that they are giving you the same digits in different place value columns. They're trying to trip you up. £1.49, add £5 and 3. A couple of ways of doing that. Now we're going to do a slightly more complicated way. You have to keep your head on it. What does that even mean? Keep your head on it. You have to pay attention to what you're doing. So instead of £1.49, we're going to do £1.50, which means I've added 1p, which means I need to subtract 1p from the answer. Okay, and then I'm going to add that to £5, which I've subtracted 3p from, which means I need to add 3p to my answer. Okay, I'm hoping that makes sense, because £1.50 add £5 is so much easier to use than 49 and £5 and 3. But I need to bear in mind what I've done to get it to £1.50 and £5 and undo it at the end. And I find this here that I've written is a really straightforward way. I've done this, so I need to undo it. Otherwise, you might get confused at the end and go, well, I think I need to add a penny on. You've already added the penny, you need to subtract it off. So I think it's really useful to write it out. We could just do column addition and not try and cheat like I am. So 5 add 1 is 6, £6.50. Okay. But then I need to do what I've set up here. So I need to subtract 1p, which would be £6.49. And then I need to add 3p, which would be £6.52. And again, some of you might have realised there that instead of doing the -1 and then they add the 3, I could have just done add 2p. Okay, because it equals out to add 2. Or you could have just done £1.49, add 5.03, and done it that way. And then 9 and 3 is 2, 4 and 5. So it's still going to give you the same answer. Okay, just to prove it. But spotting little shortcuts like that is no problem. You might not need to write all this out, but I think if it's the first couple of times you're using that method, it's definitely worth writing. But again, the question doesn't give you a method to use. You can answer it however you want, as long as you get the answer. Okay, £10 subtract £6.43. £10. Now what I'm going to do is partition £6.43 down into its elements. So I'm going to do £6, then I'm going to do 40p, then I'm going to do 3p, because I think it's much easier calculation that way. Otherwise, you're trying to do this. Subtract 6.43. And you can see the issue. I'm going to have to exchange all the way through the calculation. So I'm not going to do it. I can't be bothered with that. So I'm going to use another method. So £10 subtract £6. I'm just going to write £6.43 down here. Oh, excuse me. It's £4. Okay, so I've already done that. £4 subtract 40p is going to be £3.60. Okay, now I've done the 40p, and then £3.60 subtract 3p is going to be £3. Oops, £3.57. Oops, sorry, £3.57. Getting confused there. So that's the answer, £3.57. Now, you don't need to have done all this writing. You can just do it in big jumps. I mean, you can do 10 subtract 6, and then you can do, hopefully, 4 subtract 40 all in your head. And I'd hope you can do this one as well. But it's just to show you the method there. Okay, it doesn't need all that writing, because some of you might be there going, well, that's a slower method now. It's not, because I don't need to have written all that. They're all mental calculations, just to show you. The prime number's up to 20. So prime is a number that is only divisible by 1 and itself. We have done these loads and loads. They've come up loads of times in these daily questions, but the more you know them, the better, because you might get asked. If you get asked, it's always useful to have, isn't it? So, 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, and 19. Okay, let's just take 17. It's in the ones, it's not in the twos, it's not in the threes, it's not in the fours, not in the fives, not in the six, not in the seven, not in the 8, not in the 9s, not in the 10s, not in the 11s, not in the 12s, not in the 13s, not in the 14s, not in the 15s, not in the 16s, but is in the 17s. Okay, just to prove the point. And if you take 15, just to check, because these are looking like they're odd numbers. So y isn't 15, 3 times 5 equals 15. So it can't be right then, can it? Okay, so there's your answer there. 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, and 19. Okay. Y equals 3, so 7y equals, well, it's asking you then what 7 times 3 is, which is 21. I'm not going to waste any time with that. We haven't come across that this year, but we have done it on these daily questions. If you see a number written like that, 7y, it means 7 times. It just hasn't given you the operation in the middle. All the factors are 12. Factors, how do I explain factors? Factors. So if you have 12, a factor is any number that you can count in to reach 12. So it's any number where 12 appears in its times table. Okay, and they come in factor pairs. That's how I've asked you to calculate them this year, so you don't miss any out. So 1 is always a factor, which means that 12 is the factor. 2 times 6, 3 times 4, and at this point you hit the crossover point, as I call it. So 4 is a factor, but you've already got it. 5 isn't, 6 is a factor, but you've already got it. 7 isn't, 8 isn't, 9 isn't, 10 isn't, 11 isn't, and 12 is, but you've already got it. Okay. And last one, 1 and 4 fifths add 1 and 1 tenth. We can't do anything at the moment because we have different denominators. We've got fifths and tenths. Okay, so we're going to convert. So the fifths are going to become tenths, so we can leave this as 1 and 1 tenth. You're going to multiply the denominator by 2 to turn it into tenths, which means you're going to multiply the numerator by 2, so it's 8. So it's 1 and 8 tenths. Okay, 8 tenths is the same as 4 fifths. Add them together. 1 and 1 is 2. 8 and 1 is 9 tenths. Okay, let's have a look at the, yeah, giving you an answer. That's fine. You can't do it any other way, can you? Yeah, 2 and 9 tenths. Okay, as I said yesterday, I won't say it again after today's video, but as I've said yesterday, there's no challenge question today. Instead, I've set you an activity on LBQ as well as your White Rose Hub Maths. I was stealing the challenge questions from there anyway, so if you want a challenge or a further challenge at today's work, then get on over to LBQ and have a go at the activity set today. Don't have to do all the questions. The further in you get, the harder they get, so why not skip the first sort of 5 or 10 where they're really straightforward and have a go at something more challenging. Okay, I hope you did really well today, and I'll see you tomorrow.